with respect to this offense right now, and it is like it's on the ascent. Well, the defense is quietly ascending as well, and you don't think about it as much because there's still, a lot of people still look at like some of the
traditional 130 a game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're still allowing well over 100 points a game, and so people don't necessarily lock into defensive rating the same way that we react when we see them put up 125 or 140 points a game offensively. But they've climbed to the top 10. They're ninth as we sit here in the NBA after being bottom 10 for so long. I know that it's not wire to wire number one like last year, but they are climbing. They are top 10 in the NBA in defensive efficiency right now, with Rob Williams slated to come back sometime between now and Christmas. He's coming back, folks. He's on the way. He's scrimmaging 5-on-5. He's going to be back. Woj is talking about it. Rob is returning. My question, though, is before we talk about defense at some point here, how much does Rob in your mind elevate the offense, Keith?
Yeah, I think what it gives them is that real major play finisher at the rim, which is they are lacking to an extent. It's by no means is it a weakness or anything like that, because they're obviously still doing just fine with it. But when you have it, just Rob Williams hanging out in the dunker spot as we're kind of running that 4-out actions with the good spacing, that's a completely different feel than Luke Cornett being in that spot, even Al Horford in that spot, certainly Grant Williams or Blake Griffin. Teams just, they're going to regard that differently. And I think what that does is that creates a whole different thing, because you're going to see sometimes Tatum and Brown, I think, especially early in the year, they would drive and it was like, oh, I want to throw the lob here because I drew the help. But it's like, oh, Al is drifting out to the corner versus going up at the rim, so then it'd be, all right, I got to throw up something, that I didn't intend to actually shoot this myself. And I think that's what's going to change things. I think they'll look different for sure than they do right now. It won't be as much 5-out. But the thing I think people are forgetting is Rob Williams is a very, very good passer. So you can at times put him into some of those 5-out actions where he'll be the initiator, whether it be a dribble handoff, a screen. They really like to run those pitch back plays and those kind of things, whether it's something like that. And then what he'll do is then he just kind of works his way down to the block. And as you're in, the defense is now in scramble mode because you've had him in rotation, because you've hit the paint twice. Then the next thing you know, it's a lob to Rob and it's a dunk. And that's what I think we're going to see look very different with this group, but I don't think it's going to be worse. And that's the thing I keep trying to tell people is different is not worse. It's yes, they may fall off some because when you're historically good, there's really only one way to go is down, but it's not going to be because Rob Williams came back. It's just going to be because that was some natural regression to the mean there. But yeah, they're going to be great when he gets back to on the offensive end.
Yeah, that's the thing that Keith mentioned about the help defense that comes when Tatum or Jalen or Smart or Brogdon or White, like when they penetrate into the teeth of the defense and they get in the paint and they get in the lane, like that help comes up. And as Keith referenced, like a lot of times, that could be a guy that Al has, that's supposed to be guarding Al, but Al is now drifting in the corner and to make the spacing better. Throwing it up to Rob is actually a better shot than throwing it out to Al at 3-point range. Just going to be flat honest about that. And the other thing that's going to be interesting is the offensive rebounding opportunities that they're going to have, because Rob is clearly their most athletic player and is going to be able to gobble up some stuff. And he has just terrific vision. How many times have you seen Rob like dive for a ball out of bounds and just like somehow find someone at the 3-point line on a random tip out and somebody has an open shot? Like that's going to be added to that too, and putbacks and the offensive rebound. Like that's all going to add. Like I agree with Keith. It's going to be different. Is it going to be better? I don't. I can't get on that quite yet, just because like how can you get better than the best ever to do it? But at the same time, they're going to have better opportunities possibly with Rob in there. I think it will take some time. I think Rob's going to need some time to gel with everybody and gel with this offense. But I mean, his life's going to be super easy. It's not like he's going to have a really hard time to get points. Like he's just going to have an easy time. And that's the thing that's so remarkable about this offense is they seem like they get so many easy, good looks at the basket. I think it drives other teams crazy. Like I've referenced this a few times in this pod and other podcasts. Keith, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to listen to other teams' broadcasts when they play the Celtics, but
yeah, I do sometimes.
It's so fun because they're like, oh, well, they can't keep shooting like this. And then like by the third and fourth quarter, it's like, well, they're all open shots. Like, what do you want? And there's just going to be more of that, I think, with Rob because of the element that he's going to bring. Like, and the best thing I think is because he's unlike any player they have. He's going to change the geometry a little bit on the floor. I'm really curious to see what Mazzulla comes up with to take advantage of that. I mean, it's just, again, the rich keep getting richer here, and Boston's in a really good spot. I've been of the mindset, like, let's just hold Rob out for as long as humanly possible because they clearly don't need him at this current moment. But at the same time, like, you do want to see what this quote unquote offense looks like at full capacity. You know, like you can. I don't know. I'm just excited. That's all. I'm excited for Rob. I'm excited for everybody. But man, this has just been like just too much good stuff happened. Too much good stuff happened.
Yeah,
you didn't need Jaylen Brown starting the fourth quarter in Phoenix with the team up 75 points either. But sometimes you just do things because they feel right.
Yeah, that's funny. I think to Evan's point too about opposing broadcasters, when I was putting the takeaways clips together after the Raptors game for Celtics blog, it was all of the clips came from the Raptors broadcast. And there was a play late in the game when it was still fairly close where the Celtics, they hit the paint like twice on the same possession. The ball pinged around. Jason Tatum had initiated everything, worked its way back to him. He hit it. And all you could hear, I think it was Matt Devlin, the Raptors broadcaster. He went, yep. It was just this full like resignation of, yep, well, that's it. It was the one that basically that kind of ended the game for, you know, all intents and purposes. Yeah. And I think that's what one of the kind of things where we're going to see here. And on Rob, I had this conversation with some people where they were, well, how long do you hold him out? Like they really don't need him. And I said, well, if he's 100%, he should play. But that's not 99. That's not even 99.9%. When he's 100%, play him. Now, you play him and you be super careful with him. You keep his minutes down. If he's feeling anything, you sit him back out. But 100% is 100% play. There's no reason why you can't play when you're at 100%. You just got to be very cautious and very careful. And I don't think – it's funny. I was kind of laughing. I said, I think what we'll see is Al Horford continue to plays the front end of a back-to-back, doesn't play the back end. And Rob will probably do the opposite, right? Because he's probably not going to play back-to-backs either, at least not early in the season. And, you know, right now this great start has kind of put you in the position where, you know, it's you in Milwaukee, so you gotta hold them off because they're despite how great Celtics are playing, the Bucks are only right behind them. But it's just kind of get into the playoffs and get there mode because you're afforded that by racing out to this great start.